People ask me all the time, what do I think of online dating? And so I find it funny, the question, because I always say, we don't date online. The question we need to be asking ourselves is, how do you date when you get to the date? Online is how we connect, it's the shadchan, it's the matchmaker. So I want to know, what are your thoughts about this online experience and how it's changed the way we go about dating? Does it change how serious we take people? What's the vibe? What's the culture? And what do you think about this whole online dating experience?
Whew. It's a loaded question because people usually think I'm going to come and say like swipe apps and app dating is like the future and it's amazing. But the truth of the matter, I think, is I'm more of like a critic or critique. First of all, I think the millennial dating experience is complex, confusing, and absolutely crazy for so many reasons. First of all, everyone's dating everyone. Right? This obviously is not people who are in committed long-term relationships, so those people are great. Let's not think about them. But everyone else, like, the intention is there. People want to find someone, but everyone's just dating everyone. Like, people are going on multiple dates a week to find this person, which first of all means you're confused, or at least like you don't have clarity. Like, there's no space. You're comparing people against the next person rather than how does someone fully, connect with, you and what you need. And apps are really core to the cause of this. We've solved what I call like a sourcing issue. So when I lived in the Upper West Side, I was there for 3 years. I promise you I did all the things. And like, honestly, there were maybe 5 people that I met in the entire time that I even wanted to go on a date with. And then like, I think maybe went on 3, which is insane. And swipe apps have solved that because now you can go on another date for the most part, every night of the week because you can connect with anyone either across your city or across the world or what have you. So we've solved that, which was a serious challenge specifically also for the Jewish world. But what we've created was a almost more confusing, more complicated challenge, which is referred to in social psychology or human behavior as the paradox of choice. It's this idea, scientifically proven, that in all of the studies that they show, the more options that we have, the less likely we are to choose, and the more likely you are to regret a choice once you've chosen it. And so basically now people are going out on multiple dates a week, all of these options, no one's committing. There's, the prevalence of either, quote, like swipe culture, where it's like, oh, that person, like they're actually pretty great, but like they have a freckle that I don't know, like swipe left, on to the next one. Like little things that like would have never ever even been like relevant 5, 10, however many years ago are now like deal breakers for some people, which is ridiculous. And then on top of that, I think they're really confusing pop culture narratives or social norms. Like the first thing is, as a millennial man, like we are like told that if you're into someone, like you're not supposed to show up as like really into them. Like if anything, you're supposed to like lean out a little bit, like a little bit less fucks, like because if you're really into them, then it's like people are, why is this person so emotionally available that they're like, what's wrong with them? Or like, what's wrong with them that they're into me? This is crazy. So A, we're told that you have to like sort of not show up fully in that way. B, if you went on an amazing date, and you went out to your first date was amazing, and then the next day you were at brunch with your friends, and you told them, you're like, guys, I just went out with this amazing person, and I'm gonna delete all of the apps, I'm gonna stop going on all the other dates, like this is it. Your friends would look at you like you're crazy. They'd be like, that's absolutely nuts, you've been on one date. So the way that I think about it often is like our grandparents' generation versus our generation, which is, I imagine that our grandparents, like our grandfather had a great date with their grandmother, walked her all the way home, kiss or not sure, and like was skipping home thinking about like, wow, this date was, that is an amazing woman, like I need to see her again. Skipping home, gets home, brushing his teeth, he's like, wow, so amazing. Goes to sleep, wakes up the next day, he's like, I need to see her again. Writes her a letter or does whatever they did and sees her again, and it's like this reinforcing cycle of magic and romance and mystery that obviously ended up in all of us being here. Versus today, if you're like a gentleman or woman and your phone is on airplane mode or something during your date, and you walk him or her to their Uber or Lyft, if you're politically correct, and you open the door, and then they walk in and they go away, and then in order to call my Lyft, I have to take off airplane mode, and instantly you get ping, 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 ping by the notifications. You have a new match, you have a new message, you have a new match, you have a new message. And because your friends would say that, of course, like, it's only one date, obviously, like, don't delete the apps. And because pop culture says, like, you have to lean out, you shouldn't lean in. It's not wrong. You click the thing and you're brought right back into the complex, confusing, abundance of choice, paradox of choice, when in the same moment our grandparents were skipping home and focused on that one person. So at a very high level, I think we live in a very confusing time for dating. I think mobile technology, all of these things is a core driver of that. Like social media, it's like we need to govern ourselves. We need to have discipline to plug in, unplug, stop swiping, or if you're exploring someone, and maybe we'll get to this later, but really I think it's all about people allowing themselves to show up fully, like be there. Don't be dating multiple people. If you want a relationship, you probably shouldn't be like texting your ex, have a little rotation of people you're communicating with, and like doing all, like, that's not gonna create a beautiful, powerful, loving relationship, or even the space for one. You need to clear the space in order to call that in. But it's okay if that's what you want. Just A, be real with yourself, and B, like, I don't know. I went on a date like maybe, I don't know how many months ago, and it was crazy. I got home after the day. I was like, wow, like, that was a great date. And I started thinking about it, because I think about this stuff a lot. I was like, what was it about that date that was so great? And I was like, it was that she was just so, like, heart open. She was just there, and like not defense mechanisms or walls. I feel like most of the time when you meet someone right now, like, there's just so many walls up to, like, protect themselves from possibly being hurt, that, like, you can't actually get a feel for anyone. And it's actually a shame that, like, what was so exciting about this was something that I think should just be like a prereq, or at least like a baseline, which is people are there, they're present, they're open, they're vulnerable, and also clearing yourself from distractions. But I think it's a very confusing time to date. So I feel you if you're experiencing any of that, because we all are, for sure. I'm just as confused in it as all you are. So yeah, cool.